Hello dear viewers, a very warm welcome to our channel. It's very good to have you here. In this video we are going to have a look at a very simple fluid coupling type torque converter. This is used in automatic transmission to supply engine power from the crankshaft to the automatic transmission gearbox. Now when we look at some of the main components, right here we have the impeller. The impeller is actually the one that is connected to the flexi plate. The flexi plate will attach to the crankshaft flange, and when the engine is running, this will be driven by the engine. So this is always in constant connection to the crankshaft. So this right here is the impeller, and right here this is the turbine. The turbine is actually connected to the transmission input shaft. As you can see, when we move this turbine, when the turbine wheel is moving, then you see there is an input to the transmission. So this is the turbine. It is connected to the transmission input shaft. And in the middle, we have a stator that is supported on a one-way clutch. The stator is actually there to direct oil so that torque multiplication will take place. We will see how it operates in a minute. So the principle of operation is like so. This entirely, it will be filled with the transmission oil. So the torque converter is filled with oil. Now the idea is when the engine is running, when the crankshaft is rotating, it will take the impeller with it. This impeller will rotate with it. And when the impeller is moving, it will take the entire oil mass in the direction of rotation as a whole. So when oil is pushed to this direction, by the engine crankshaft, then that oil will act on the turbine, and it will also force the turbine to travel with it. This is simply the principle of operation. So the impeller will move the oil will act on the turbine, and then the turbine will act on the transmission input shaft. In a nutshell, this is a very simple method of operation. Now, the oil that is being driven out by the centrifugal force will be directed to the turbine, and when the oil that hits the turbine comes back, it will be deflected by this stator. So the stator is there to direct the returning oil. Oil was initially discharged from here, acted on the turbine, and then when it gets deflected, it will be deflected by this stator, and the stator will direct the oil in such a way that it will assist in the normal direction of the impeller. So the oil that is deflected from the turbine will be directed by the stator, and it will act on the impeller, assisting in the direction of rotation. So as engine speed increases, so does the pressure. The pressure of the oil that is deflected by the stator will act on the impeller, and that will multiply torque. So the turbine will act as a fluid coupling, and in extreme cases it will have torque multiplication, and it will also have an effect of balancing, acting like a flywheel. It will balance any irregularities on the crankshaft rotation as well. So this is a very old model type. It's a very old model type where we have only the three components. We have the impeller, we have the turbine, and we have the stator. Modern torque converters, they have a lock-up clutch that will eliminate fluid friction when the engine is running. After some RPM, that will lock up the turbine to the impeller, preventing any wastage as a result of fluid friction. But this doesn't have that. It is simply a fluid coupling device. The impeller will also have a responsibility of driving the oil pump. When the impeller is moved, see, the impeller is connected to the oil pump drive assembly. So when impeller is moving, as you can see, the oil pump is also driven. This is the oil pump. It's a sectional view of the oil pump. When the impeller is moving, it is moving the oil pump as well. So the impeller, it is connected to the oil pump, and the turbine, it is connected to the transmission input shaft. Look, when I move the turbine, the entire torque converter, the entire gearbox assembly will start moving. So the turbine is connected to the input shaft, the impeller is connected to the oil pump, and the stator is connected to an extrusion that is extended from the housing. When you pull this out, you can see how it is connected. Pushing this out, see, right here we have a notch that will connect to the oil pump. This notch will drive the oil pump. This notch is the one that is connected to the impeller, and is the one that is responsible for driving the oil pump. And when you look at here, Right here we have a support for the stator. This support is a fixed and stationary metal that will support the one-way clutch of the stator. And right here we have the input shaft that is connected to the turbine wheel. As you can see, the input shaft, when the input shaft is rotated, power will be entering the automatic transmission. So this is simply how a conventional type torque converter operates. Right here we see the oil pump. It is a gear type, internal gear type, and I don't know if it is visible or not. So oil pump drive assembly, it will insert in here. So the the impeller will drive the oil pump by entering into this passage. So when assembling the torque converter, always make sure that this notch is well fit to the oil pump drive unit, otherwise it will not be assembled. So this entire assembly will be inserted fully if these passages align. If this notch doesn't align with the oil pump drive, it doesn't sit fully. So always rock it around and make sure that it is inserted fully. Let's see how it is assembled. Put it in, then turn it around, rock it a little until it is fully inserted. Now it is fully engaged. As you can see, when the impeller is rotating, so does the oil pump. The turbine wheel, this is the turbine wheel. The turbine wheel is the one that is connected to the transmission input shaft. So power is taken out of the torque converter through the turbine assembly. As you can see, when the turbine is rotated, the entire transmission will receive power. And the automatic transmission operates by simply changing different gear ratios by using this planetary gear assembly. We'll be using this multiple disc clutch. We'll be using these bands. Right here we have a band. Here we have the planetary gear set assembly. And all these are operated by a hydraulic circuit. So the hydraulic will direct oil passage to the different assembly. There are pistons here. For example, there is one piston here. When oil is admitted in here, it will clamp this and it will allow power transmission. But when the oil that is forcing this piston to this direction is removed, the springs will return the piston and the multiple clutch will become free. All this is controlled by the hydraulic circuit. Right there we have a hydraulic circuit that will shift to the different speed gears depending on engine load and vehicle speed. So this is a very simple introduction to the principle of operation of a conventional fluid coupling torque converter. This is a very old type model. Modern ones have a lock-up clutch, but this doesn't have. This is a very simple fluid coupling device. Well, dear viewers, that is all we have for you regarding the principle of operation of this ordinary torque converter. If you like what has been presented, please smash the like button. If you are new to this channel, do consider subscribing, turn on notifications so that you will be the first to get notified whenever we come up with another video. Until then, stay safe.